I think Europe surprised itself at just how determined and decisive it could be in a moment of crisis. So a lot has happened. Pipelines have been reconnected, flows have been changed, infrastructure has been built in no time. And the continent's gone out to buy energy from where it could. So it also got lucky. Where the sun shines, it's one of the warmest winters ever in Europe. And so it's managing to get through this winter with the help of a very warm winter. And that will help it prepare for the next winter as well, which is in some ways slightly more tense.
Yeah.
So far so good. I think Europe has done well in its crisis response. But it would be wrong to think the crisis is over.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work ahead of Europe to really become energy independent. And it also doesn't want to be energy independent by producing a lot of fossil fuel itself. It wants to become energy independent by producing a lot of green energy in the future. So make energy security and energy transition go together.
Well, is there an inherent incompatibility between their desire to be energy independent and some of their environmental objectives? Remember, just as a reminder, Europe's objective is to cut emissions by 57% by 2030, and yet they increased emissions in 2022. So it's moving in the wrong direction, not the right direction.
Absolutely. But if you face a choice between having your citizens be freeze over the winter or switch on the coal-fired power plants, I think they made an understandable decision. But eventually, Europe doesn't have the fossil reserves to become energy independent in a fossil system. So in a way, the two crises of the energy transition and the Ukraine war reinforce each other to say, if Europe really wants energy independence, it has to speed up, it has to accelerate its energy transition journey, because it does have a lot of sun and wind, and so it can actually create that independence in a green way.
One of the other features that emerged during the course of our discussions last year, and we all became mini energy experts, I'm not going to put that to you to the test, but it was interesting that Iberia emerged as sort of a gas and LNG peninsula, so to speak. There was huge storage capabilities, but once the storage filled up, it was very difficult to move that gas from Iberia to the rest of the continent. To what extent does the new proposal for the Barmar pipeline fix that issue?
Not really. So indeed, Iberia has always been a bit of an island in Europe when it came to gas. It wasn't really connected to the Russian lines. That's been a disadvantage historically because the gas in Iberia was more expensive than the gas in Germany. Last year it was a big advantage because it didn't rely on Russia so much. The Barmar line will take until the end of the decade to be built, maybe 5-6 years. By that time, the energy situation will be very, very different. So the Barmar line is hugely relevant for the hydrogen future of Spain and Portugal and Europe, but it will not play a role in solving the near-term crisis.